Hello everyone, my name is Jotham Israel and I'm a senior here at Saint Xavier University, which means that I have had my fair share of classes that I've taken here. With that in mind, I wanted to share some tips for anyone that is trying to get accustomed to registering for classes here at SXU. This video will be directed mainly towards communication majors, but there are also some tips that I have for all SXU students, regardless of what your major is. Tip number 1, understand your academic requirements. I'll use myself as an example. I'm going for a bachelor's degree, so I need at least 120 credits worth of classes. Regardless of what your major is, all students have their general education classes that they need to complete. However, when you look past the gen eds, the classes that you need to take depend on what your major is. The same thing applies if you decide to have a minor. I'm a media communication major and a film and media studies minor, so the classes that I have to take are different from the classes that, say, a political science major has to take. I suggest reaching out to your academic advisor just to make sure that you're on the right track. Tip number 2, evaluate the sample course plans. They are there for you to use as guidance on what classes to take and also when to take them. You can also communicate with your academic advisor on which courses to take and when to take them, but at the end of the day, your schedule is your schedule. You need to make sure that you feel comfortable with every semester that you plan for yourself. Tip number 3, choose your electives wisely. I'll break this down into 3 categories: major requirements, general education requirements, and minor requirements. We'll start with the major requirements. So the comm major requires 36 credits. 15 of them come from the core classes. These are classes that you absolutely need to take and pass in order to complete the major. 9 of the credit hours are concentration credits. The classes you have to complete are dependent on which concentration you choose to pursue. The media, sports, and strategic concentrations each have their own trio of required classes. So use these 3 classes to decide which concentration you want to have. The other 12 credit hours are your electives. Whatever comm classes that you take that don't fulfill a major or core requirement will count as your electives. There are also a select few non-communication classes that will fulfill this requirement as well. My suggestion would be to choose the classes with topics that interest you the most. Keep that suggestion in mind as we will now dive into the gen ed requirements, which require 37 credits, regardless of what your major is. There are only 4 classes that every single SXU student has to take: Transitions, English 120, Philosophy 140, also known as the Exam in Life, and Comm 101. That's only 10 credit hours though, so the other 27 credits have to come from courses of your choice. It is possible for one singular class to fulfill multiple requirements. Take Comm 205 for example. It's a core class for the comm major, but it also satisfies the digital literacy course requirement. It also serves as a core class for my minor, so that's 3 birds with 1 stone. Yay! You don't have to take a minor if you don't want to, but if you do, make sure you understand the requirements. Take classes that you actually want to take. Not all of your electives have to come from your major, and if you're a communication major, not all of your electives are going to come from the communication department. Tip number 4, try to balance out your classes each semester. Believe me when I say this, you do not want to have a semester full of hard classes. To avoid this, I advise you take a deep dive into the course catalog on the SXU portal and keep a mental note, or better yet, take actual notes, of which classes on the catalog interest you. And finally, tip number 5, have a few backup classes planned in your schedule. This especially helps if you end up getting waitlisted on a class that you want to take. Don't just sit and depend on another student to drop the class you're waitlisted on. Be prepared for when they don't give you that opening. Also, you never know when you might second guess some of the classes that you signed up for. Maybe the workload is too much to handle, or you think you want to save that class for a different semester, or you realize that you do not want to wake up every morning and go to an 8 a.m. class. Whatever the case may be, if you decide to drop a class, having another class as a secondary option to replace that class is very important. That is the end of my tutorial for signing up for SXU classes. I hope this video helps you become the best student you can be here at Saint Xavier University.